so you can take a look at that. So great, we are now streaming to YouTube. Perfect. And great, we're gonna start our simulation game. So you can unmute yourself and talk to me, or even better, use the chat. I have the chat open on the side and I'll be taking a look at that. And we'll get started. So hopefully, if you haven't already, you can create an account on Elementary. You can do that in your own time. But basically, I just started a brand new story. And we're going to start with just figuring out what kind of game we want to create. So I'm going to just open up a new page and let's just brainstorm some things. So I was thinking actually about how we could make a simulation game for, let's say, how to take care of a pet goldfish. Any of you guys have a fish at home? I heard someone had a fish. Anybody else? Or you've had one, or you have one, or maybe where you got it? You don't have a goldfish? Okay, so we're going to learn a little bit. You used to have one? Okay, so people who have a goldfish, you guys are going to help me out. Okay, so we're going to be working on how to be... Or it could be any fish, a goldfish owner. A good goldfish owner. Okay. So a simulation game is basically when we want to go in and we're going to create, we're going to basically play as a person and go through a specific process. So some examples of maybe some simulation games you've played are maybe, I don't know, I would say Sims, but I think you guys are, that's my generation and not really yours. So I think maybe like Rocket League. So Rocket League's not really a simulation game. I think more like Animal Crossing might be kind of like a life simulation game. If you played Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley. Yeah, Sims is one of the best simulation games. Yeah, so Sims 4. You also have other ones like how to be a truck driver, how to be an astronaut, things like that. So we're actually going to just do a very simple one. It could be whatever. In my case, I want to say something like how to be a good goldfish owner. Okay, so when we have a simulation game, we need to make sure we have choices in this game, right? Because if you have a game without any choices, it's not very much of a game. It's kind of boring. Okay, so how can we make some choices in this game? So what are some choices we could make? So first of all, we go to the fair, we get a goldfish, we bring it back. What do we need for this goldfish? All right, so I like that. So we need to have fish food, a goldfish bowl. What else are some other things we need? A friend for the goldfish. Okay. Okay. So actually, you know, you do need a friend for your goldfish because goldfish are social creatures. They actually need a friend. Otherwise, they can get lonely and then they can die because they're lonely. Ah, yes. So sometimes the goldfish will bully smaller ones. I had that happen too. Oh, wow, that's a bit scary. Okay. So I see. Okay, so I think we have some good choices. We need maybe to look at maybe the size of the goldfish bowl. Okay, so okay. So we have a couple of choices now. Okay. So let's actually get started with, so this is just my draft. We're gonna just use this as a reference and we're gonna start our story actually on page 3. So how many of you have had experience with coding before? Can you type it in the chat? 1 being I don't really know that much, and 5 being I'm a pro. Can you type it out for me so I can see? So 2, 3-ish. Okay, 5. 5, 5. Okay, great. So if I were to ask you what is a variable, can you help me out and give me an answer to that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have still some and not all. So does anyone know what a variable is? A variable in coding. What is a variable? Have we heard about it before, variables? Okay. All right, very good. So a variable is basically something that is a container that holds a value, okay? And I think the best way we can take a look at it is maybe through an example. So we're gonna actually go ahead and go through this tutorial. So at home, you can do this on your own. You could go to the tutorials button and you could go to how to use a text variable, and we're gonna actually do that together. So that way at home, you can try it out yourself, okay? I'm gonna start the tutorial. And basically the first thing that we need is we need a variable block. Okay, so a variable block. So if you use code.org or Scratch, it looks a little bit different the way that we code. And that's because it's a node-based visual coding environment. And node-based visual coding is a type of coding that's used in the real world. If you play Rocket League, that's an example of node-based visual coding. Or that's an example of a game that's been developed by a software that uses node-based visual coding. So I'm going to go ahead and create a variable. And I'm going to create a variable and I'm going to call it name. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to ask the reader for their name. And I'm going to click on the next button to continue. And I'm going to go back to the layout design. Okay. So when I use a variable, I want to surround it by 2 curly brackets or mustaches. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add text field and click. So this is the tutorial once again, so you can just do this later on your own. And I'll explain everything to you step by step once we finish it. So once we have created the variable, we have to go back and we have to grab some blocks. So the first block we're going to get is variable equals text object block. And the second block that we're going to get is we're going to get on text input. And the third one is going to be the text field. So I'm going to go through really slowly now and explain what these blocks do. So the first block is on text input. It's an event. Do we know what events are in programming? What are events in programming? No problem. So events are not actions. They tell us when we want to run our code. So in our case, we want to run the code when the page starts, or when we input the text. So we want to run the code after we type in the name and like exit or press enter. We want to run our code. So that's the event. The second block is basically saying variable is equal to text object. So this is basically saying that our variable called name is going to equal whatever we put inside the input field. So I'm going to go ahead and click next, and let's see if we can connect our blocks together. So I have a white triangle here. Where do you think I can connect it to? Okay, Sanjay, where do I connect it to? Okay, great. And so I have a purple circle here, and where do I connect it to? Okay, great. And that's because when I'm finished typing in the text and I press enter, I want to execute my code. And the last thing I need is I need one last connection. So the purple circle here goes to the purple circle here. So the last step I want is I need to select name, and then let's preview. So I think the easiest way is we can preview it and see what it looks like. And it's okay if you're completely confused. Variables do take a while to understand. And you see now I say Fluffy, and it'll say my name is Fluffy. And if I say Ben, my name is Ben. And if I say Nathaniel, my name is Nathaniel. So we see that whatever is here is going to be replaced. So let's recap again. And like I said, what we just did is a tutorial. You can go through and do it on your own as well to help you out. Okay, so I'm going to go back and notice that name here, it needs to match exactly whatever we created the variable name to be. So if we put name, it needs to be name. If we put first name, what do we have to put here? You could first name. We can put age instead of name, I heard. Yeah, so we could do that. Hold on. So how do hold on one second. I think I'm glitching, so I'm going to put stuff in performance mode. All right, great. So if we want to do age, we can do age. So we can put age here. And instead of what is your name, it could be how old are you? So let me take a look now. So when we do how old are you, let's preview. And we put in 11. Oh, we're missing something. What are we missing? Age, age. Oh, we have to have age here. Let's just double check. Preview. Ah, there we go. So my age is 12. Well, my name is 12. That's not good. So you can change it up. And you could just have to put the curly brackets, okay? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. You have to say, I am age years old. Something like that, okay? So that's how we would do it. Okay, so let's actually keep it with what is your name? And I'm going to get rid of this. So let's say, let's have a story where it's like, okay, where do we get our fish from? The fair, the shop, where are we getting it from? Okay, I like that. One day you went to the carnival, and won a goldfish. Okay, we want a goldfish. Yeah, so hold on one second. Let me find a carnival or a Yeah, what is the fish's name? I like that. I like that. So what is the fish name? We used to have a carnival. I don't know where it is. Fair Kids Okay, let's see if we can find a nice background. We'll just say this. Okay. So one day you went to the carnival and I don't know, threw the ball, picked up a goldfish. So what do you name the goldfish? Does that make better sense? Okay. Alright, so do we have a goldfish here? I'm looking at fish, and I have like this. It's not really a goldfish though. Oh, we have a bull. This one? Okay, yeah, let's use the fish bowl. Oh, we have this one that's empty. We'll keep it with this one. There we go. What do you guys think? We like this goldfish so far? It looks good. It's got fish lips. Okay, very good. So then we can make the goldfish say something and say like, hi. So first of all, yep, yeah, it's kind of transparent. So what can we do to make it, or we use this one? We use this one maybe, so it's not transparent. We put it on top, like that. Looks better? Okay. My name is name. Okay, so this fish can be named whatever the reader wants. So let's take a look. Oh, it's because we need to change it back to name. So we need to change this back to name and name. Connect. So let's preview. One day you went to the carnival and won a goldfish. What do you name the goldfish? Fluffy. Hi there, my name is Fluffy. Okay, so it's kind of weird that this speech bubble is just... It's kind of weird that this speech bubble is kind of hanging out here. So we want to fade it in, maybe. So let's fade it in. Yeah, so we can make it come from his mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and fade this in. And that way we can get started with the choices. Okay, so now we see the speech bubble is not here anymore. And that's because we want to fade it in after we name our goldfish. What do you think? It's good so far? Okay, so I'm going to move this down. Okay, so remember we have to say what the goldfish bowl size is. So we go into our house now. So we're going to find a house. Do we have a house here? In the sink? Oh, look, we even have a goldfish tank here. That's big. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to ask a question now for our reader. So or our player. And the question we're going to say is something like, so you're very happy and decide to go home with your new pet. What? So what kind of home should we What kind of home do you give your goldfish? Okay. Yep, you have 2 choices. So the first choice is you leave it in the bowl. Oh. Okay, hold on. Yep. There's a crab in here. Oh yeah, there is a crab in here. Okay, so okay, so we have give it a fish bowl, or we want to, or actually we should say put name in a fishbowl near the window. Okay. Put name inside the giant fish tank. So do you know, a lot of goldfish actually die because they don't have a big enough tank. You actually need 20 gallons for a goldfish, which is really big. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So goldfish can actually live very long. They can, I think, live like almost 20 years if you take care of them. Oh, wow. The longest is 46. There you go. We learned something new. That's really awesome. Goldfish facts. Yep, so that's why we have the curly brackets. The curly brackets are the variable. So we need to surround the curly brackets with the variable name. And in our case, it's called name. Yep, let's try it out. Let's actually try it out. So give me a goldfish name. Can we give me a goldfish name? What's a good goldfish name? Type it in the chat. I can't understand all of you. Type it in the chat. First thing I see in the chat is what I'm going to put. Okay, I see Goldie. Oh, no, I see Bartleby. Sorry. Let's go with Bartleby. Bartleby. Oh, yeah. I don't know. That's what someone suggested. Bartleby is the name that was suggested. So we are going to go with Bartleby. Hello there. Very good. So now you see you're very happy and decide to go home with your new pet. What kind of home do you give your goldfish? Put Bartleby in a fishbowl near the window, or put Bartleby inside the giant fish tank. Okay? So right now we can click on it, but nothing will work. So we have to actually code that. So you're going to help me with coding that, okay? Okay, yeah, very good. So we're going to go to different slides depending upon which choice we click on. So in order to code, we have to go. Ah, very good. So we're going to go and click on Event Graph. It's at the top and it flips the page to the back side. And this is where we can code all of our interactions. Yep, we need to tell the computer where to go. So we need an event first because in order to have any code, we have to start with an event. So what event do we use? Okay, you could type it in the chat also if you think you know. What's an event that we need to use? What are we trying to do on this page? Yeah, make the buttons work. So what do we do to the buttons? Yeah, so we're going to use the click once button. So I'm going to get 2 of these click once buttons. Okay? Because there's 2 buttons. And we're going to need a function. Do we know what functions are? Okay. Okay, we have move, we have scale, we have bounce. So button functions are our actions. They tell us what action to do. They tell the computer what to do. So what are you going to do, computer? Well, you're going to go to a different page. So I'm going to grab 2 of those. I'm going to copy and paste. Okay. And I need someone to help me. So everyone be quiet and please either type in the chat if you want to volunteer, or let me know by raising your hand if you're okay. Nevaeh, can you help me out? You can either unmute yourself or yeah, you great. How do I connect my blocks together, do you think? Okay, hold on. Nevaeh's talking. Okay, so I have the purple buttons to the purple buttons and triangles to the triangles. So which purple button do I use? This one? So connected to the click once. And what do I do with this one? This white triangle. Okay. Okay. And then am I done? I have to do the other one. So purple to purple, white triangle to white triangle. And then am I done? Okay, so we're missing something. Can someone help me? Everyone type in the chat if you want to help me. Or Sanjay, you're you have a cheat code. You were with me before. Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So Sanjay already brought up a point, which is right now we can move from page to page by swiping left and right like this, and we don't want that to happen. So we have to lock the page. But what else am I missing? Okay, we want to code an animation. Okay, we could code an animation later. So I'm going to give you a hint, and we're going to actually just preview it. And I'm going to click on the button. What page do I go to? Is that correct? Okay, the go to page needs to change. Change the page. All right, so what page is the one near the window? Okay. And the giant fish tank is page what? Very good. Okay, now we want to try it. So let's preview. Okay, we're near the window and fish tank. Okay. Yep, we have to add the fish. So we're going to ignore the fish in there right now. I want us to focus on creating the game first, and then we can add the animations later. Okay, so the last thing we need is we need to lock the page, and that's what Sanjay said. He said we have to lock the page. So we need on page start, lock navigation left, lock navigation right. So this is basically saying that we... Yep, so now when I try to swipe right and left, I can't move. I have to click on something. Okay, very good. So I'm going to go back and we're going to design our goldfish. We're going to copy and paste our goldfish here. Maybe get a table. I think let's add a table. Yeah, we didn't copy the other goldfish over. He's a bit different now. So we're gonna we'll add him, okay? Okay, be nice to the goldfish. I'm gonna copy and paste. So, oh, it's very simple. We're gonna just copy and paste, and we're gonna do the same thing with the fish here. We're gonna paste, and we're gonna put our fish inside. Okay. So now what I want to do is, yes, yep. Yep, so if we choose the one with the tank, we can do things like make the story end sooner, but I also want to maybe make it so okay, so you notice the goldfish is sad and then you want to buy him a new friend. Okay, so first though, I want to have us focus on a score. So you don't have to understand everything about this, but I want us to kind of have an idea of creating a score. So let's think about this. Okay, you're now playing a game. You're playing the Can My Goldfish Survive game, okay? So I have two choices in this game. I can get a fishbowl, which is choice 1, and get a fish tank, which is choice 2. Which choice is better? Okay, so yes, so giant fish tank is better because goldfish need 20 gallons. So what we're going to do is we're going to increment our score. And what we're going to do is if you are a really good goldfish owner, you'll have a higher score. And at the end of the game, we're going to check your score. Yep, and we're going to check your score at the end of the game to see if your score is high enough for the goldfish to survive. Does that make sense? You could type yes or no. Okay, so you can add a cat in, you can have different events in, but right now I just want us to think about this like a game. What are some events that we can add to our game, our simulation game, that changes the score of the player, okay? Exactly, very good. Okay. Okay, so let's get started with number variables. So when we want to talk about score, we're going to use a number variable. So variables have different types. You have text variables, which is what we used for the name. You have Boolean variables, which is true and false values, and you have number variables. Now, if you don't understand any of this at all, it's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this. Yep. Yep. Okay, very good. So what I'm going to do is at the end of this session, I'm going to actually publish this story so you can remix it and see how this is coded. And if you want to make your own changes to it, you can do so, okay? So the best way, so don't worry if you don't know how everything works. We'll go through it slowly. And the best way to learn is to keep on using variables and learning how to use them in different ways and becoming just better by trying it out. So I'm going to create a new variable. It's a number variable, and we're going to call it maybe score, or maybe like, we could call it score for our purposes. So I have score, and what I want to do is, okay, I'm going to go back up actually so we can see up here. Okay, so I'm going to create it. So instead of directly going to go to page, I want to increment my score. So increment means to increase by a certain value. So I'm going to go back to my variables, and you'll see that right here I have an increment variable block. So increment, exactly, how many points do I get for doing this? Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste. So I have 2 of them. So if I click on the put it in a fishbowl, how many points do I want to give? Yeah, so the amount of points, it's up to you to figure it out. It doesn't really matter too much. For my purposes, I'm going to just say you get, I don't know, we'll say we get 0 points if you put it in the fish bowl, and if you put it in the fish tank, we're going to give you, I don't know, let's say 5 points, okay? Okay, so, or we could do, so we have 5 points and then we have 10 points. Let's say 5 points and 10 points. How about that? Okay, so what's the maximum you can get so far in this game? The maximum score. So we have 5 and 10. I changed it. So 10 is the maximum score that we can get, and we have to select the variable score. So what I'm going to do to make things a little bit easier is I'm going to make sure that we can see the variable. And how do we put the variable on here? We need to use the double brackets or the mustache, and we put score. Okay, so this is just for our testing purposes to make sure that we can get the right score, that we know what the score is all the time. Does that make sense? When we finish the game, we're going to just delete this. But for our purposes, let's get started. So I'm going to start. Yeah. So for me, I'm actually not going to show the player the score at the end. So when I'm finished with this game entirely, I'm going to get rid of the score completely. So the player doesn't even know what their score is, but it's calculated somewhere in the back. Okay, so we have Goldie here. My name is Goldie. So you're happy. Let's put him in the giant fish tank. So now you see the score is 10, right? We have 10 here. Okay, very good. So let's now add another choice, another event. So we have fish food. Do we feed it or not? Let's do this one next. So this one's pretty easy, right? You can choose not to feed it if you want. Different types of food. Okay, well, I need to research more about goldfish to see what kind of food they like better. How about bread? We can give it maybe bread. Maybe, what else? What are my choices? Think about the choices. Put it in the chat. So you decide to give name, bread or goldfish, okay, or goldfish food. Okay, so that's those are my choices. Okay, yeah, if you choose whether or not to feed it, it's a little bit too easy. Let's see. Do we have any other goldfish experts out there? Okay, let's say bread. a piece of bread. Oh. Okay, so yeah, maybe you can also maybe have a choice, which is like how much food do you give the goldfish? Okay. We'll make it easy for the player, okay? You can make it harder on your own version. Fish pellet food. I like that better. Fish pellet food. Okay. Now let's see if we can have So let's go back and we're going to have our choices again. So fish pellet food, a piece of bread. Okay. And remember, we need to do on click. Oh, everyone just disappeared. On click once. On click once. And then we want to increment by a certain amount. I need to go to variables. So if we give it bread, how much do we want to increment by? Or maybe we want to decrement. Well, that's fine if we go negative numbers. Okay, so let's try, if you give it fish pellet food, we give you a 10. And if you give it a piece of bread, we give you like, I don't know. Do we give you 5 also? 0? So if you get, so let's just put 5 for this. Okay. So what's the maximum score we can get then right now? We have 2 choices. What's the maximum score? Okay, so this one is 10, this one is 10, so the maximum they can get is 20. And what's the minimum they can get? Okay, so it's between, okay, so it's either 10, 15, or 20 are our possible scores right now. Okay, so let's take a look, and we're going to go on this page again. We're going to, oh, we have to add maybe the score. So I'm going to actually go ahead and create a new page, and we're just going to go to the next page. So both of them are going to go to the next page. The next page is page 7. Yes, page 7. So yes, you have to lock it if you want to make sure they don't move. So yes, we need to lock it. So let's lock it. So they can't move. No, you have to lock it on each page, because how do you know? How does the computer know which page to lock and which page not to lock? Okay, so now let's check the score. So let's do same thing, score. For some reason I'm having trouble. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's preview. So here's our goldfish simulation game. So we're gonna name our goldfish, I don't know, what do we name it? Fluffy? Hi there, my name is Fluffy. Okay, we're gonna put Fluffy inside the fish tank. Fluffy seems to be a bit hungry. You decide to give Fluffy a piece of bread. So what should our score be? Is that correct? Seems like our code is working. Okay, very good. Okay, so we can actually duplicate this page. So we're going to have 3 choices total for our story because we're running out of time. And I'm going to just duplicate this, duplicate, and that will copy it. But instead of this, we're going to give it a different choice. So what should our choice be? Do we get a friend for the goldfish or not, right? So seems to be a bit lonely. A bigger fish or a smaller fish? The bigger fish will... Okay. Yeah. So we can actually have 3 choices. Let's have 3 choices. Actually, instead of these buttons, we can actually get some fish. So we can actually find some fish for our friend. So let's find, do we decide to get this fish maybe, or what other fish do we have? A dead fish? I don't think that's good. Maybe this one or this one. You know, we can have 3 different fish that you can choose from. Yeah, we can size them. So he's like, this one's bigger, this one's a bit smaller, and this one's the smallest. What do you think? Something like that? I can't spell friend. What kind of friend do you give name? Okay. Okay, so just to let you know, not all choices that you make, you have to have an effect on the story. So for example, the 2 choices previously, depending on the choice that we made, we would increment, right? But you can also make it so that it doesn't matter what happens if you choose the friend. It always has the same answer. So it's up to you on how much you want to code things. Okay, so let's say, let's actually code this now. So do we want to have the size matter or no? Does the size matter to the survivability of this goldfish? It's up to you. You can make it matter, or you can also make it not matter. Okay, let's put a vote. Say yes or no in the chat. Otherwise, I'll decide. Okay, I see 1 yes. No other. I see 1 no. Do we have a tiebreaker? Okay, I see another. I hear a yes, so I'm guessing it matters. Okay, so why does it matter and what matters? People who said yes, talk to me, tell me. Okay, so if it's a big fish, it'll eat the goldfish. Is that what's gonna happen? Okay, that's exactly. What if they get along and become friends? Huh? Okay, so let's make some assumptions. Let's say if we take the big fish, then it's not good for the goldfish because it's too big, and we have a risk of the big one eating the small one. Okay, that is a real risk when you have goldfish. And so let's be a little bit realistic, but the small one is not too small, so let's say it's okay. So let's make it so if, let's do it like this. So let's make a page where this will be, if you choose the big one, let's have a page where the big one is here. And we want our smallish goldfish here. And we'll have an ending that is something like, unfortunately, the large goldfish was a big bully and ate all of the food. Name. And then we can have, like, I don't know, a gravestone or something. What do you think? We'll have something like this. We'll have something like this, and we'll have our character here. And we'll say R.I.P. name. R.I.P. I hope they know. There we go. What do you guys think? Rest in peace. Okay. Okay, we'll put rest in peace. There we go. Okay, so we have rest in peace goldfish. And we'll put a nice nice little cross mark over his eyes or something. You know what? I'm going too much. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. Okay. So, oh dear. So then, yeah, that would be a smarter idea to get an actual dead fish and put it there. Yeah, you guys are smarter than me. So, and then we want to have maybe a restart button. What do you think? Okay. All right, so this is like an unfortunate ending, and in the case of if you get the middle fish, what happens? Okay, so if you, and what happens if you get the small fish? Okay, that's a bit too complicated. Let's just make them both happy. So they'll both get 10. We're going to make them both happy, and they're going to both be happy. Okay? For simplicity's sake, we're running out of time. Okay? So where's our fish? Here's our fish. So we want to grab our fish here, and we want to grab... and we'll have him say, like, thank you for finding me a friend or something. Thank you for finding me a friend. Okay. Okay. So I'm missing a couple things I'm just gonna fix up in the next couple of minutes so then we can play it. The main thing is I need a button here because notice on this slide we can go to 2 pages, right? But we don't have a way to get to page 6. So we have to create a button that says like next, for example. Exactly. We have to find a button that can teleport us to page 6. Otherwise, if you get to this choice, then if you get to this page, you can swipe, and that's really weird. So we don't want that. We don't want that to happen. So let me just fix that really quick. And then we're basically done with our game almost. And then I'll publish it and you guys can remix it and change the choices up if you want. And change the endings if you want and decorate it and whatever. Sound good? You're doing it on your school computer so you can't access elementary, is that it? Ah, I see. Yeah. So I'll put the link in the chat so you guys will have that once I publish it. So sorry, what was I doing? Oh yes, I was finishing this book. So hold on one second while I finish this really quick and then we can test it out. So what's the final score in this Okay, hold on one second, one second. So what's the maximum score you can get? What's the perfect score you can get in this game? So we can get 10 here, we can get 10 here, and then what about this one? We can get 10 here. So what's the maximum score we can get? Okay, so the maximum score is 30 that we can get. So on click, go to page, and I want to go to page, which one? 6. All right, perfect. All right, so the maximum score we can get is 30. So, oh, we forgot. Our fish can die, right? Our fish can die. What's the score that we want for the fish to die? So if you get 10... Okay. All right, so if we have 10 points, then we want to have the fish die. Okay, so what I'm going to do is... Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a game over page if your fish dies. So this is the game over page. Oh, I messed up. I copied and pasted the wrong thing. Sorry. I have to refresh, unfortunately. I'm going to make a game over page, and we're going to redirect to this page if our score is less than or equal to... It's all saved except for the last thing I did because I accidentally copied and pasted the whole group, and right now it doesn't like copying and pasting the group. So now I need to have my fish here, and he is dead. Okay, so he's dead. Okay, I'm trying to finish this really quick, so hold on one second. Okay, so we have 3 endings. We have this ending where we pick the bully, right? We have this ending, which is if we pick the right choices and the fish is alive, and we have this ending if the fish dies because of the choices you made. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to take a look at the logic block. So the logic block will basically say, it'll do the comparison. So it'll do the conditional, the if-else statement. So here we're going to say, okay, once we increment, we're going to compare the score to a number. Let's say 11. If it's less than 11, where do I go? If it's less than 11, Yep, so less than is this one here, and I want to go to page 10 because page 10 is the end, so sad ending. And if it is greater than 11, then I want to go to page 8. Okay? Or no, page 9. Sorry, page 9. Page 9 is the one that works. So I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to do the same thing. And then Okay, so 11. And we're going to do the same thing, page 9 and page 10. Okay, and I need to grab score. I need to grab score. Variable I'm dealing with is score. And let's go ahead and play it and see if everything works. Okay, so let's try to get the ending where our fish dies because we made the wrong choices. So Goldie. So what's a bad choice? Put the goldfish in a fishbowl. So our... Okay, near the window. So here we go. He's near the window. Next, we want to give him a piece of bread. But right now the score is 20. So it's not 10. We're supposed to look at 20, right? Because the minimum score we can have is 20. So we messed up. It wasn't 10. I believed you guys. You guys are supposed to help me with this. Yeah, I put 11 instead. You guys said 10, so I put 11. Okay, so I need to put 21. Alright, so let's try again. So if I make bad choices... So Goldie, 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 Goldie. Okay, Goldie. Put Goldie in a fishbowl. Okay, it's 5 the score. Next, piece of bread. Oh no! Rest in peace, Goldie. Does it work now? Okay, well, our restart button doesn't work, but you get the picture. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this restart button, and then I'm going to publish it, and then I'll share it out to you guys, and then you guys can take a look at it and change it up and do whatever you want with it. Sound good? So let me just fix this really quick. Boom, boom, boom. So, do we have a better idea about what variables are and how we can use them now? Awesome. You guys are rock stars. So, if you... Yeah, we could create... So I'm going to go ahead and do the restart. I'm going to go to page 1. And then lock the navigation. So remember, we have to lock the navigation on every page. We want the navigation to be locked like so. And then I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a background so it looks a little bit better. And we're going to call it Goldfish Owner Goldfish Owner Quest. I like that. I like that title. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this. I'm going to call it Goldfish Owner Quest. What day is today? January 23rd. Narrative Game Design Club. And I'm going to publish it. So I put the link out for everyone so you guys can now play it. And make sure that it works. It says that